Alright, so I know it's been a while since I've posted a video on this. I'm kind of new to YouTube and I get caught up in the project here and don't post as much as I should, so I apologize for that. So basically what I've done is I've gotten the engine in, the transmission in, and I just finished the fuel system. So you can see here that the transmission and everything looks just like it should. It's in the same location with the transfer case, using the same bolt holes. Those are the factory bolt holes. So I measured from the back of the engine where the bell housing meets on the old motor to the back of the motor mount, and then I did the same thing here and bolted it up to the motor mount, so that way I knew everything would bolt up in the same location, because I had measured the transmission from front to back, and it is the same length as the old 700R that was in here. The difference is this right here. I had to take the adapter off of the 4L60, it's a 2005 4L60, and get an adapter that would work from the, I guess it was late 90s models 4L60s, when they still used a 5-bolt transfer case, and this is a new process 231, and bolted up to the back of the transmission. So, and then I had to machine the sides. This is the 4-wheel drive shifter. It's hard to see. Maybe I can. Yeah. So this is the 4-wheel drive shifter that bolts up here, and you can see right here where it's got the 2 bolts. From the factory, it's got 2 bolts here and 1 bolt on top. I wasn't able to bolt the one up on top, but I had to machine the side down flat and just measure the distance between the 2 bolt holes and drill them and tap them in the side so that it would have somewhere to bolt up, but it's in the same exact location. So the 4-wheel drive shifter works like it should. All that's good. Now here's a big deal. This bell housing is much bigger than the 4L60 that was in it, and so, I mean the 700R that was in it, excuse me. So I had to, you can see, I had to take an air hammer and with a big flat like hammer end on it and expand that, the tunnel right there, because it was hitting. That's something that has to be done, and then you can see where it's a little bit bent over right there, just to make it easier to get the engine bolts in. Which, I mean, for what I'm doing, you'll never see that, and it worked really good, and now it's got plenty of room. This is the wiring harness and stuff from the factory 2005 Tahoe. See, I'm trying to think of anything else that I did. So this is the fuel filter that I'm running. It's like a Corvette style fuel filter, which has the 2 in. You got 1 in, and then it's a regulator as well. It regulates to 58 psi and then back out. And then I'm using the factory lines. So this is 3/8 and this is 5/16. The 3/8 is the supply line and the 5/16 is the return line. So you only have 1 line going up to the engine. They're not all like that. Mine's in 2005. I think in 2003 or something they changed that. So if you have like an 02, you're gonna have a return line that runs all the way back from the front. So if you have that, then you're gonna have to use this return line. Actually, this is a return line. This is a vent. We don't need the vent. So anyways, I got the tank in and all that. I ended up having to go with a was a Walbro in-tank pump that's high pressure for fuel injection, and it fits awesome. It's the exact same size as the throttle body pump. Right here is the throttle body pump, and it was exactly the same size. So you just pop this out and you put the new Walbro in, and you can reuse all your original mounts and everything like that for your fuel pump and center unit and all that stuff. So I ended up going with a set of gauges that are called V3 gauges. So that's what's going in it. They're from, I actually ordered them on eBay, but they come with all their own sending units and everything. The fuel gauge has its own sending unit. You have to drill a hole in the top of the tank and mount it, which I did that. That wasn't hard. And wired it into the factory plug at the back. The plug has a purple wire and a gray wire, and the gray wire is fuel pump power, and the purple wire is the sending unit power, or from the sending unit. It's got its own ground back there too. So later on I've got to figure up which wire comes up, and when I do my gauges, and find which one's the sending unit wire and hook it into that. And that shouldn't be too bad, but I still have to do my radiator and all of that. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. I feel like that I am. But anyways, I figured I would post something before I get too far, because it's getting, closer, and I have not. Oh yeah, I remember now. So the exhaust I had talked about, that's the exit for the passenger side. That's the exit for the driver's side. Now, I had talked about on an earlier video, on my other video, that I had to machine those down. Well, this one here, you can see how the outlets are different. That's because I ended up having to use the factory manifold on this side, and a manifold that I bought separate. It's like a hooker, block hugger style cast manifold for this side. There is no other way to do it unless you want to pay like $800 for a custom set of headers. This is the other, you can see that's the hooker style. They were 189 bucks on eBay. I can't remember where I got them from, but you can Google it or go on eBay and search it. But I wanted to use both of them, but this dumped right down into the frame, so that wasn't going to work. So anyway, they both look pretty close to the same, and I'm pretty sure they flow the same, so it shouldn't be an issue. So anyways, there you go. That's an update. If I think of anything else, then I'll throw it on here. Otherwise, I'll go back over everything, on a later video. See ya.